Hi Judith. So this is my first search for our week 6 homework, and I've got 4 rows of 5 containers set in a pretty busy room with a lot of potentially distracting items in this room. But I don't want to make the assumption that it would be distraction, because those same items might also be collecting odor that could be necessary to solve which container is the correct container for my dog. So I definitely need to pay attention to how they're working. Additionally, I have a variety of containers. I have some cloth bags and what looks like maybe some plastic bags. And then I have taller bins and some very flat looking pencil case type things. So I need to keep track of what my dog has checked and what they have not checked. My plan for this search would be to go in a very logical, row by row, watching my dog. However, my dog gets to decide. So if my dog comes in and is drawn to a certain area because there's odor present, I'm gonna go with my dog and do my best to keep track of what we have not yet checked. When I see that my dog has checked all of the containers and does not have any more odor information coming to him, I'll call finish. That's still always a little uncomfortable for me. I'm finding my way with that, but I'm looking for indications from my dog that he doesn't have anymore, like expanding his search area, brackets getting larger instead of smaller, wanting to leave, going into handler focus can be an indication from him that he wants to leave. There's a look he gives me like, what's next? Where else should we go? So looking for that. And I look for a couple of those things to happen so that I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket, but looking for a couple of behavior changes that tell me we are finished with this area. Thank you. Okay, containers. Search. Alert.
Yes.
Good boy. Good boy. Very nice. Yes. Alert.
Yes.
Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so my container search. We definitely did not go row by row. I did allow my dog to drive. I did stay at the start line and give him some leash. So he checked these first few containers independently, and then I moved into the area with him to go deeper into the search area. He found his first container pretty easily, and then when we moved over to the other side, got a little stuck on the green tissue paper container. I think it maybe is a visual of seeing the other containers and their presence, or knowing that they're part of this search because the table is dividing the area up. But I feel like that could happen in a trial too, where the containers go around the corner. When I took a step or two to indicate that we were going to go on down the row, he left that green container. I think under pressure, I might have thought that green container could have contained odor, but I don't have a lot of pressure here at home. So I was able to see that he really didn't have odor. He was just kind of guessing to see if something would pay. And then when he did have odor, he really stuck to it. So I think that's important for me to remember in trial. So that's my evaluation. Hi, Judith. This is my second search area for an interior search. The hides are unknown to me and they are set within the parameters of 0 to 3. I'm kind of pretending that this would be my first room of a master search. And I see my boundary cones from the start line, and I see that there are a lot of items in the search area. I am also aware that it rained last night, so it's much more humid than normal for us. So I may need to allow time and just take a deep breath and let my dogs sort through what's going on with the odor picture, because they work more often in dry conditions than humid conditions. My plan would be to go around the perimeter unless my dog has odor and pulls into an odor picture with a line and has an area that they want to work. Then I'm going to do my best to keep track of where we've been so that I can pick up and continue ensuring that we do indeed get the perimeter and then the middle of the search area covered. If my dog comes in and has a different pattern in mind, then I'm going to go with my dog, but still focus on ensuring that we get everywhere. I'm also going to think about leash management so that I'm not getting tangled on objects. So I want to give my dog as much space to work out away from me as possible. I would consider going off leash, except that there's a whole lot of area in this room that's out of play, and it would be easy for my dogs to decide that that area is super interesting. So I think on leash is my better option at this point. I think that's, when will I say finish? Again, I'm looking to see, excuse me, a couple of things from my dog that would indicate to me that the area is finished. And that could be that he tries to expand his search area. He goes into a lot of handler focus with that look of what's next? Where do we go next? What do you want me to search? Or he returns to a found hide, but he returns to it in a way that he's not anchoring off of it in order to solve a different hide. And there's a look, and it's hard for me to put words to it, but when he goes back to anchor, he collects information. His head's still low, his nose is low. I can still audibly hear him sniffing, and he moves off to an area that he's trying to work. When he returns to a found hide because there's nothing left, he usually puts his nose to it, and then he looks at me like, what else do you want from me? Instead of continuing to work. And I think that's it. Thank you. Everybody? Okay. Let's go search. Alert.
Yes.
Good boy. Good boy.
Tough one.
Good boy. Alert.
Yes.
Good boy. Good boy. Alert.
Yes.
Good boy. I'm calling finish because it was 0 to 3 and we have found 3. If we had... Okay, Okay, so the debrief of our interior area, the parameters were 0 to 3, and Baxter found 3, so I did call finish at that point. However, if he had not found 3, I would have continued around the search area to be sure that we covered the entire area, and I would have turned around and gone the other direction to be sure that if odor was only available from one direction, we caught it. But because we did have 3, I did call finish. Thank you.